Hey guys, it's Listing Out from Harry, and today I'm joined, mind you, you might recognize my next guest because she's done a testimonial for Zencleanz for the main group. So hi, Joanna.
Hi, nice to be here.
And this is actually how we connected. I saw your amazing, truly amazing. I love testimonials like the ones you've given because everyone has a different experience. So
Exactly.
I wanted to share with the audience. First of all, well, let's backtrack a little bit. How did you find out about Zencleanz? Who told you about it?
I think I stumbled across it on a comment on another Facebook group about cleansing, probably in like a liver detox group. And somebody just commented saying to somebody else, you need to do a Zen cleanse. And I'm always like, what's this? And like I love learning and finding out about new things. And I just clicked on the link and then I read the testimonials, which is what we're doing, but I read them on the website and I was like, what is this magical thing? I must try it. So um, that's all it took for me, was reading about other people's experiences. And I'm so grateful that they were on there, because I've obviously now had my own experience and now I'm here to tell the tale. So
That's so amazing. So yeah, what did you start with again? Did you start with the liver instead of the Zencleanz one?
I did the one intestinal cleanse twice, and now I've done the gallbladder cleanse twice as well. So I've done forgive twice. Yeah, I've done them both twice.
Oh,
And I've done
wow.
other
Yeah.
enzymes between. So
What was the last one? Sorry, did you say the last bit?
just the other enzymes. I've done the quantum particles,
Oh
which is
yeah.
my favorite thing in the whole world, and also the black vacuum as well.
Oh cool. The dailies that they put in the Zencleanz one. You've done just in the daily outside of the flush, outside of the.
Yeah, yeah, just sort of ongoing maintenance, I suppose, to keep me connected to the vibe and the enzymes.
Cool. Yeah, I've done the dailies too. They're amazing. I got around to it. So what was your results, I guess, from the first Zencleanz? Was it a case of wow, there's a lot coming out here, or like you weren't sure?
uh, well, I'll tell you we bit about maybe why I
Yes, sure. Guess
looking
backtrack. Yeah, yeah.
like what was
Mhm,
going on with me
mhm.
um before I found it. So what I was looking for. So I have been on a looking for answers, believe it or not, for 22 years. I went to a doctor for the first time when I was 21, because my digestion was off that long ago. So it's been 22 years I've been on this journey of looking for answers, which seems crazy when I think about it now, really, because um, and it's led me down lots of different paths. I've done lots of different types of cleansing. I've even done big long fasts in Thailand with heavy herbs and um, multiple enemas a day, and then doing liver gallbladder flushes the old way off the back of that. And so I'd done quite a lot of in-depth detoxing on my journey, big long juice fasts, and I've tried so many other things, loads of different healing modalities, spiritual stuff, personal development, plant medicines, tantra, you name it, I've given it a crack.
Yeah.
So, and I love, experimenting. I sort of call myself a bit of a guinea pig sometimes. Because I do, love to go and try things and just see what it's all about. So, um, I'd also just struggled for my whole life. It feels like, well, at least, from my late teens with my weight, sort of been on a big journey with that up and down, digestion, often bloating, brain fog has really come in the last few years of being more of an issue. And really just always looking for answers. Found out I had loads of food intolerances. I've done lots of different explorations into trying to do parasite cleanses and get rid of that in different ways. I've ended up in hospital to try and deal with them. So I've sort of tried almost everything you can imagine to try and feel better. And I hit the ripe old age of 42 last year. And just around that time, in the last year or two, I was starting to worry that I might be going into early menopause. And I think I'm too young for that. um, and that I was a little bit concerned, but I had the odd hot flush. My period was just going a bit out of whack. It was usually pretty regular. And so I was having a few sort of warning signs about that. And then I would also say my liver had started to scream at me in a way like I knew I wasn't digesting fats. I couldn't really drink alcohol anymore. I was starting to get gallstones out of my system without even trying. And so I was like, right, my body really wants these out of me. And I knew I had to do a liver gallbladder flush. And I was gearing up to do one of the old ones, the Andrea Moritz version, with Epsom salts and all that kind of stuff. And something within my body, even though I knew I had to do a flush, my body was just saying no. I just didn't want to go through that again with the Epsom salts. I don't know what it is. I think the Epsom salts really strip your body. And my body was just saying, no, we don't want to go that version. And then, of course, I believe in flow and the magic of things happening and turning up exactly when they need to. And then that's when I found Zencleanz. And so I thought I should do the one cleanse first to really get my intestines going. And then obviously go on and do the liver gallbladder, which has been amazing. So just, everyone starts in a different place. We obviously all have different health things, concerns, but I think most of us in a sort of like Western culture, we're all inflamed. We all pretty much heavy mercury or heavy metal poisoning, whether it's from amalgams, injections, or whatever, your food, the air, so I think we've all got levels of toxicity going on, and however that then shows up in your body. We're all looking to heal something different. So even if whoever's listening, your stuff wasn't on my list of fun things that was going on in your body, it's highly likely that it'll be effective for you. So that was all going on with my digestion, my weight. And so when I did the first one cleanse, I was blown away by what came out. So obviously I've done these extended fasts in Thailand, right? They are grueling, these 10-day things. And it took me, I think it was two of my 10-day cleanses to get a chunk of mucoid plaque out.
Oh, yeah.
And people on that journey were like amazed that I got anything out just from having done these 2 10-day fasts. But I was like chuffed to bits. And so when I managed to do a 1-day at home kit, which wasn't horrendous, right? I felt a bit bloated, a bit
Also
uncomfortable.
the price difference, right? I'm guessing.
Right? Yeah, exactly, right? Thousands and thousands going to Thailand. And I did it budget Thailand. It was still thousands and thousands. But and so yeah, a couple of $100, 1 day at home, and I get mucoid plaque out. That is bananas. Like I think anyone in the sort of cleansing detox community would just be blown away by getting that out. Like what? So I was chuffed to bits to get that out of my system, because I know how important it is to get it out, because I know it festers away. My grandmother had colon cancer very young in her 30s, and so I'm very conscious of wanting to get the stuff out, especially mucoid plaque out of my colon, just because there's a little bit of a family thing there. So for me, yeah, chuffed to bits. And then it came out very easily. I think sometimes people think it might hurt, or it might be, bad or whatever, but yeah, it came out very easily. And I was chuffed. But I think the biggest shift for me immediately afterwards, was I felt high. I was like, my energy was just off the charts. I couldn't believe how good I felt, which shows me how crappy I had been feeling for so long, because I don't remember ever feeling that good in my life naturally. And immediately my creativity came back. I was writing, I was painting, and I just had so much oomph to go and suddenly get things done. I was doing paperwork, and just like finally felt like I had whatever freeze I had been in my body, that had been sort of stopping things happening, just sort of disappeared overnight. I was like amazed. And I was really aware as well that I had dropped out of the sympathetic nervous system. So I was sort of in fight and flight mode, and I didn't really realize how long I had been in it. I think since I had a heavy dose of antibiotics. In hindsight, I wish I hadn't done that, but you don't know better until you know better, right? so I did. So my body had been in sort of fight flight mode for a long time, and I used to find it, for instance, quite hard to meditate, like just hard to just stay still and just be really present. Sometimes it felt like I was going to die by staying still, which sounds dramatic, but that's the feeling that came up. Um, and overnight again, I was able to just drop into the most deep, beautiful meditations. I was craving it. I was just doing hours and hours of really beautiful, deep meditation. And I know what a gift that is, right? For your life and what we're creating in the world. And like, being able to visualize and, be in that beautiful state is so important. And here, I'm somebody who would even preach that was something people should do, but I find it very difficult to do it myself without something aiding me, whether it was a sort of plant medicine or something, some sort of situation to really give me the space and allow me to get out of my head and really into my body. So I ended up, I did a lot of stuff to get me into that state, but I felt like this overnight change really allowed me to drop in and get into that beautiful state. So that was amazing. And then I've also noticed and it's sometimes the funny thing that happens when you're healing is, and this is, I do sort of spiritual coaching and healing and things, and people sometimes once you feel good, you forget the things that were bad. So you can actually just sort of start going to your, like for instance, I heard once, this wasn't a client of mine, but I think it was a celebrity actually, and she'd done some sort of healing and she couldn't sleep without the light on. And she went home one night after having done some sort of therapy and just turned the light out and went to bed. And she didn't realize until maybe the morning or middle of the night or something, she didn't realize she just turned the light out and gone to bed when that had been so hard for her before. And so I think when you do healing like this, you suddenly you feel good and you're like, oh great, blah blah blah, and you sort of almost forget all the things that felt
Yes, I
crap.
can relate to that.
You know what I mean? So sometimes it's hard to like tell you how good it is,
and then
because
you start questioning whether it's actually trauma that's holding you back, but it's not. It could be you're a different stage of consciousness, and it's just a memory without. You can have a memory without the feeling of going back in the dark place because you're not in that dark place anymore. Like you can't access that feeling. You can access the memory, the situation, but not the feeling. Sort of.
Yeah. And so there's some things that I've sort of have subtly disappeared, and then I'm thinking, oh, hang on a second, where's that thing gone? So, and you maybe I didn't notice for the first few weeks, but I had a rash that sometimes recurred. I had athlete's foot that would come on and off occasionally, and but totally gone. I had some moles that have started to sort of just disintegrate on my back. I'm thinking, oh, interesting. So really, like sort of, like I'm sort of seeing these sort of physical things happening, and so I know that those things don't heal unless your insides are healing. So I feel really good about that. I've obviously felt less bloated. I have a lot more more tolerance to foods. I'm not feeling so crap after I eat things. I've noticed my ability to control my cravings has been better. So yeah, my digestive side of things felt better quite immediately. Obviously I lost a couple of kilos at the time as well, but that's, it's often, you've sort of done a bit of a cleanse and a fast. So yeah, there was a whole bunch of things that I felt had just sort of were stacking on top of each other. And I was like booked and ordered my second one pretty much immediately the day after. I was like, I need one more of these. Yes. So
yeah, that's pretty amazing. What was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. That's my trauma, my brain. But oh yeah. So obviously you felt a lot different. So this is amazing. It kind of shows me what you're saying, that the shit in your colon was holding you back from a lot of things. Because if you take your testimony and put it to the world, where the world's constipated, imagine like, I don't know, shit seems to hold us back, isn't it? And you're a great example of this, that you felt so different when the mucoid plaque or the old shit that was stuck in there, when the colon was wiped clean almost from decades old, you could function to what you were supposed to function, but the blockages stopped it. And the blockages, I feel, stopped loads of people. everyone has varying levels of constipation, right? Or
Oh,
not even constipation, mucoid plaque. And yeah, releasing of that is the key, getting that gut work done.
it's really, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it stores all of our trauma, right? Like a lot of it is held in your gut and in your colon. So yeah, releasing that is amazing. I mean, some people have quite an emotional release as well. Like there can be, fear comes up or anger or whatever the emotion that was trapped comes up. I don't remember the first one being really emotional. But yeah, it can obviously it can happen and it yeah, so
Maybe because you've done a lot of work prior to, you're not completely new to detox. That would be more inclined towards someone that's new, that kind of effect.
yeah, I think so. Although I feel like my body was still not in a great place.
Mm.
So even though I'd done all that stuff, I'd done the detoxing, I think I'm just wondering how much of what I had been doing was actually particularly effective.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, but I have done a lot of emotional clearing and work, and I do know when I do that work, it has a physical impact, and the physical stuff. When I do a physical detox, it has an emotional impact. So I think it just people you can attack things from both angles. And I think for years I was only doing my spiritual and emotional healing, and I'd sort of almost ignored my body a little bit. And now my body is saying, no, I need to be healed too. Like because I felt like my consciousness level had risen pretty high. I mean, relative to whatever it was before,
Mhm.
but my body hadn't really responded. My body wasn't reflecting how I was feeling inside or consciously. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like they're starting to maybe match each other a bit better.
How cool and well explained. That makes complete sense to me. So I remember now on the other interview you done, you made a point about doing it from the inside out and not the outside in, because I kind of agreed with you and resonate that there is a lot of stuff that we can buy, even in our communities that, I mean, I've tried a lot of things before and I just don't feel different with a load of supplements, and a lot of people take them just because they know it's good for them. But I've always been big on, like yourself, I guess, feeling. I need to feel a lot different, or even a subtle difference. But a lot of supplements, I don't even feel a subtle difference. So when
Same.
this comes along, this is one that you have to go through the process and do it, because no one's going to hold your hand, pay the money for it. And by the way, I don't know if you have any know of people. I know people that have bought through me and never used it. So they bought it, they got it at home, and I'm talking like it's been in for a year. It's sitting there for a year. So
Yeah.
that's a whole other journey. You have to actually do it to experience it.
Uh, it's interesting you say that because I've had so many people reach out to me. I've done a few posts on Facebook showing, my before and afters or what came out during my liver cleanse. Oh my God. We haven't even talked about that.
We'll
I've
get to that.
shown them the
Yeah.
results, right?
Mhm.
I've shown them what's happened. I've had over 100 people easily ask for details.
Wow. Yeah.
I've sent them all the details,
Mhm.
and maybe 6 people have purchased.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I think to me that shows the resistance people have to doing the healing, right? It's one thing to drop an emoji on my post and say send me details, right? You want
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
A whole nother thing to spend a couple $100 and order it, and then a whole nother thing to do it, right? So it's but what I've discovered on my journey and is one, it cannot be my responsibility. So I'm not following up with anybody who's asked for the information, because I'm like, it needs to come from them. There's
Yeah.
nothing I could do to force somebody, or to encourage them to the point, because they might purchase it and then it's going to sit at home. So they've got to be ready for that within themselves. I had my liver forgive kit for a couple of months, I'm going to be quite honest,
So did
and
I.
there was something I was
I
putting
got
off, right?
reorganized. Yeah.
Right, so I did have that for a little while and I was resisting it, but I was also deep in an anger story.
So again, you were deep in an anger story.
Yeah, I had something
Hmm.
that was winding me up and I didn't want to really let it go, right? Because
Oh, okay. Yeah.
there's always like as conscious as I am and as knowing of what was going on, right? I was sort of aware of it, but I felt like I had been the victim of an injustice, and I was trying to work through it, and I was really struggling to come to terms with the thing, right? And for some reason I wasn't quite ready to let it go. And I had a shift one day out when I was walking my dog, and I was like, oh, I feel a lot calmer. I think I'm ready to now do the kit. So I think everyone's going to get to do the kit when it's time. And the nice thing is they don't go off, so they are going to last a couple of years anyway. So your person hasn't wasted their money. They're just hopefully going to get around to it when the time is right. And I've also found in my journey, and I'm sure you have as well, but there's no amount of push if you're not quite ready for something, or the timing or whatever, the stars haven't quite aligned. You can't force it to happen, like if you're supposed to go on the journey or do the thing or the healing, you'll do it, and if you're not, you won't, right? So
Yeah.
And it can't be our responsibility, right? I think that's the big thing for me. It's like, if you've bought it, it's on you. Like, it's on you to buy it, and it's on you to do it. So I have tried so many times to rescue people, and it doesn't work, and so
No.
I am actively giving up on that.
Yeah, and I've had to learn that lesson. And if you become somewhat of an influencer in this field, then you just get used to understanding that people have their own paths. But truly, we're doing this because we want everyone else to at least give the Zencleanz one a go. Because of course, yes, they are cheaper than going to Thailand for a detox for 10 days, but it's still not like $50. I mean, it's or £50. It's and but it is worth it. It's a huge investment. It also looks really pretty, the box too. I like the presentation, how it
Very nice.
looks.
They, they,
Very
they do a nice
professional.
job. They do a really nice job of that, don't they? Um, but I also, if people are concerned about the price, right, I go, compared to what, right? So I have gone to so many naturopaths, specialist doctors, done all the testing, multiple times. I've done all this stuff. And I'll maybe go to see, I used to go to this naturopath. It was $150 to go see her. And I'd come away with my script for the month. It was probably $350 worth of vitamins and supplements. And I'd go spend the money, and I never got away with a visit to her for less than $500, right? So and I would take all my supplements for the month, and then go back and cry and tell her I still didn't feel well, and she'd give me another script for something else, and I'd take them, and it would carry on like that for months. So for me, the fact that it is a couple $100, but there is I feel like it's a guaranteed result of whatever you need to release, you will release. And it's one day, and you see the physical results in the bathroom, and it's magic. Like, that's so motivating. I think you can go to these people, which they are amazing, a lot of them are amazing, but it's if it's going to take me 6 months to see a difference, I don't know if I've got the energy, or some people are sort of at their last straw. They don't have 6 months to wait to feel better, or the discipline to take all the supplements and find the $500 a month to take all the supplements you need to take, to get that incremental change in 6 months. So I think, we're so obsessed now, with our TikTok and our scrolling, and we've got an attention span of 15 seconds. The beautiful thing about this, okay, it's not going to fix everything overnight, but I think it gives people enough of a shift to see a difference, feel a difference, and go, oh, hang on a second, I'm on to something. If I could do one day again and focus on one day again to get another shift, maybe I'm
I
going
was
to
just
get
going to
some.
ask you, so what made you decide to do another one? Because yeah, I guess if I'm playing the devil's advocate, it's not my opinion. Maybe someone could say, well, okay, so you've got all this stuff stored in. Zencleanz 1 is really powerful. You've seen the results in the toilet. You feel different. Why would you need to do another one?
Well, I know that I did some, over my entire life, there's been a lot of damage done to my body. Plus, we're constantly being bombarded with toxins in our environment, no matter how hard we try. If we walk outside and you breathe the air, drink, I filter my water, I do all this stuff, but I'm still in toxic environments. So I know that, one, it's an ongoing process. You don't just stop, you don't do one and you're done. I also know that mucoid plaque, we have many, 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 many meters of this stuff in our bodies. I mean, I got a chunk out, but I didn't solve all my problems in one day. So I just know it's a journey. And also, I was feeling high for like a week, but it kind of tapered off a little bit. I wasn't like
Yeah.
reached my magical destination already. So, and I just know that it felt like it felt like it opened a doorway, and I'm realistic enough to know that not everything was fixed in one go. So yeah, and I was like, right, let's do two of these. I knew the liver one I had to do, but I
Mm.
also just really wanted to make sure I was preparing myself. Maybe I was avoiding doing the liver one, let's be honest. But like I was like, I'll do another one of these nice one day ones first. But
Do
yeah.
you feel,
So
sorry, do you feel like there's when something's really powerful, like even for me, like plant medicine, like I'll always do the things that are going to help release the trauma, release the blockages, physical, spiritual, emotional. But it's not like we go all the time, yay, I'm so excited. We know there's a fear. Well, for me, there's a fear before I do a serious plant medicine ceremony. I don't know if
oh
you know Happy. I
yeah.
also started getting into this, and I'll continue to do it the rest of my life, but there's always a fear, like, yeah, because you change your consciousness so much. It's and same as Zencleanz is that that's probably what goes through
If it's
people's minds.
wild tapes. I
Yeah.
mean it's had me throwing up for 6 hours after one hit. So
Oh,
yeah, I
really?
mean,
Yeah.
oh, I mean, I'm like the last one left puking my guts up at the ceremony and everybody's gone for dinner. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow. Yeah.
so yeah. But it's also, I think, like I obviously had a lot to release, right? So, whatever way they're gonna get me to do it, they'll figure out they'll figure out a way for me to do it. But also there's those few seconds at the beginning that it's uncomfortable and you're
Mm.
like, woof, what the why? Oh my God. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Then you. And so of course there's a fear, and I think the other thing is we fear as humans, it's totally normal. Like we procrastinate things. And I always say procrastination isn't your fault because it's your body trying to protect you, I think, most of the time from the fear of change, of success, of
Mm.
whatever it is, but something's going to change in your life and you have to let go of the story you were telling yourself, right? And I think a lot of people they create an identity around their health issues. And you know do I want to identify as somebody that always has food intolerances? Does it make me feel special when I have to tell people that I can't eat this or that or whatever? And people, yeah, create these stories and these identities around their illnesses. And as hard as that is to accept, there is a benefit to all of our actions, even being ill sometimes. And so there is something they lose. I've had somebody say to me, oh, I'm not going to get so well that I lose my disability benefits, am I? Like,
Mm.
and I was like,
Mm.
uh, I don't know, maybe you will. Right? So the people aren't always totally motivated to change because they might lose something that they value, right? So
Yeah.
that's a really pretty obvious example. So yeah, you are going to change,
Yeah.
and that can be scary. So, and it's okay to be scared too, right? Like I was putting off this liver thing that I keep talking about, but yeah, um I knew it had to happen and I knew it had to be done. So
Mm.
um yeah.
So quickly, what happens with your it's funny you said you had anger, because I feel like you probably know this, the liver's connected to anger. According to Chinese medicine, it's very true. And
Mhm.
eyes and anger. So it's funny you went for the liver one. What's the story with when you did the liver? Was it even more um beneficial than the amazing Zencleanz 1 experience or similar?
I
Yeah.
feel like for me, I'm going to probably do another whole bunch of the liver ones because my results to me were profound.
Wow.
um I was very clear. I had a very specific, for the two times I've done it, I've had very specific memories pop up out of the blue that I knew were the exact things I needed to heal, that were like
Wow.
underpinning the thing that was really going on. So
Mm.
yeah, I knew anger was linked to the liver gallbladder through the Chinese medicine, and also bitterness as well. And I'm a projector in human design. I don't know if you know much about human
Yes, I do.
design.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool.
So I'm a projector, but actually all of the projector types, so projector, manifestor, manifesting generator, and the generators, all have their not self when they're not, living their best life. Their not self is either anger or bitterness, or frustration. And all of that shows up in your liver. So it's funny. So I believe that when we are not being our true self, and when I'm not, acting in my projector way, that your liver sort of ends up getting stagnant and clogged. And there's obviously a whole bunch of other reasons that happens, but on the emotional level, if there's something that you're holding on to, it's maybe your liver is a little bit clogged up and stagnant.
Also, alcohol majorly clogs up the liver. It's a big
I
one.
mean,
Like,
I drank to blackout for
mhm.
15 years, 3 times a week. Not
Right.
proud, but that was my life. And yeah, so that was one of the things I did to mess myself up. Oh, and one of the other things I wanted to sort of circle back to, we're talking about supplements and you take them, but you maybe don't feel
Mhm.
a big shift. When your liver is really blocked up, it's your liver that processes things like that and absorbs the vitamins and minerals. So we literally, it's that old adage, you are what you eat, but it's more like you are what you absorb and assimilate into your body. And so
Mhm.
when our livers are really clogged up, and when you have all that mucoid plaque, we can't absorb or assimilate the supplements and the vitamins we're consuming. So it really is a waste of time. So I use this adage, it's about, are you showering with your clothes on? But I feel like Zencleanz is allowing us to sort of cleanse the gunk out internally, and then maybe those expensive supplements are going to work. But if my liver, I mean, I was having things come out like these sort of fatty lumps, like
Mhm.
this, they were nearly the size of golf balls. I
Whoa.
couldn't even
Oh.
believe the size of these things coming out of my body. Again, didn't hurt. They just slid out into my little basket to inspect. But yeah, I was utterly blown away at the volume that came out the first time. And the second time I did it, I got about the same amount out, like just vast amounts. Some gallstones. I also had got liver flukes, which is a liver parasite. Oh, got this mad big one that was like 2 centimeters long out. Totally gross.
Mm.
Um, but just to know all that was just sitting there festering, I'm like, no wonder I couldn't lose any weight if I've got like all this just
Mm.
stuff clogging up my liver.
Yeah.
Um, no wonder my hormones were getting out of whack. Like my body wasn't given the opportunity to function. And so now that I've seen the start of what can come out, I'm like, sign me up for my next one. Like I just want to do another one. So yeah, I'm blown away. And again, afterwards felt really high, felt really good. Um and I don't know which one it's been, but I feel like I've not in perimenopause anymore. I feel like I'm back on my 28-day cycle again, which is amazing.
Mm.
Um, and just having other sort of smaller realizations about things like my hair and nails are growing a lot faster. Um, yeah, just really, really amazing things. And I just now I'm like, where can I take this? Like, how good can I feel every day? How good can I, look, feel, and in terms for me, and menopause will turn up now, whether it's now in 5 years or 10 years instead of right now, I don't know. But I feel like everything I do now to cleanse and heal my body is going to make that journey smoother. It's going to help my hormones be easier. um yeah, so all of this sort of stuff combined, I can't recommend it highly enough for somebody that's been looking for answers.
So cool. And it's so cool to know that we've got this. I mean, I don't see the company going bust. I see it's a lifelong, I mean, something better might come along. But for now, I know that this is very, very, very good. And by the way, the new ones too. I think they're underutilized. Most people I know, including myself, haven't done most of the new ones.
Yeah,
And I
me,
trust the company to deliver great results,
yeah.
almost the same as the first two, to be honest.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just know that I need to just do maybe like another 3 liver gallbladder ones first,
Mhm.
and then do that next stuff. So yeah, bring on the kidney cleanse and the lung one, and oh, can't wait.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it's
so amazing. It's so
so weird.
amazing.
But
Okay,
yeah,
and
of
quickly, I also do the
course.
dailies. How are the dailies beneficial for people? If they were to
I,
do, would you say
I'm
dailies, if someone's new, would you recommend St. Cleanse one liver, no dailies until they've got the experience, or go straight for dailies?
Everyone's different. Read the what they say they benefit. For me, I knew I had internal dampness. So from different consultations with Chinese herbal doctors and things like that. So I knew I had internal dampness. So black vacuum for me was the first one I ordered. I can tell it's getting sticky, yucky stuff out. Too much information.
Yeah.
And then I also know that my digestive enzymes are low because my liver's been so clogged up. I've not had that bile production. So, with I've not been digesting my food so amazingly. And so I wanted to try the quantum particles. And they are really yummy. Like they're
Mm.
actually really easy to take because a lot of these things, if I'm going to have to do something daily, I don't want it to be gross. I don't want it to be difficult. So it's actually really nice. They just dissolve in your tongue. It almost feels like a treat, like that you would get as a kid. Remember those things that used to dissolve in your tongue and kind of crackle?
Yeah.
So it feels
Yeah.
a bit like that. It's quite pleasant. So I'm actually, again, I'm being consistent with it because it's not hard to do. I have bought the Jing. I've only had it once, but they were really hard little pellets and
Mm.
they were quite hard to chew
Mm.
and it tasted gross.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I will continue, I will finish what I have,
Mm.
but it's not inspiring me to be taking them every day
Mm.
because they're a bit harder to eat. So I think I'm going to mash them up in a pestle and mortar and take it that way. But for something, if you want, that's the quantum particles are really great for digestive, obviously a digestive aid. And if you take them, if you haven't eaten, they can reduce inflammation.
I
So
found
yeah.
ambrosia to be amazing. I bought the daily enzyme, the first ever. I tried the ambrosia, the bottle, and maybe I
Mhm.
took it more than just like, because I don't know how long it's supposed to last. It lasted a couple of days, a week with me. I
Oh,
was
right.
swigging,
I think
but
it's
when
like meant to be like a
I
month or
was
something.
swigging, Joanna, but I got loads of results, almost like a Zencleanz one when you take it ambrosia fast. Like it's very
Okay,
good.
I love it. So
Yeah.
good.
So yeah, we're time constrained, but thank you so much, Joanna, for sharing your story. It's been amazing. When you post this up, you've got your own discount code, of course. So we'll put our discount codes underneath for people to see.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's how we get affiliations and support you guys by promoting this. But yeah, overall, thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll speak again
You're welcome.
about
Thanks so
this
much.
amazing
Yeah,
thing.
appreciate it.
Okay, cheers. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Is this I haven't stopped the recording.
All right.
Bye.